as I mentioned earlier, business has always been in my heart, and ever since just from early days when I was a young man, I was always attracted to business and business people, business friends. And my wife and I have a habit of just adopting businesses in a town. When we lived in Weaverville, we would adopt a particular business, which means we would not only shop there on a regular basis, but we would pray for the people in that business. I would, on a regular basis, find out as much as I could how the business was doing, whether was it a good season for them. And it was a great joy to do that. I remember there's this particular grocery store that was a health food store, and it was the kind of health food store that wasn't a Seventh-day Adventist kind of health food store. It was the kind that had kind of weird things too, but they were just really good people. And if they think they have light, and if light doesn't walk in the room, they're going to die in darkness. So we love to shop in these kinds of places. So I would stop actually before I'd go into the back door. I'd have to walk past their business. In Weaverville, our offices for the church were downtown, and then there's the post office on the other side of the street and down a little alleyway, and every day I'd walk to the post office and walk back. When I'd come back, I'd go through that store. And oftentimes I would just stop at the back door, and I'd stop for just a moment, and I'd just turn my heart of affection towards the Lord. And when you do that, He is so attracted to our affection that His presence just begins to manifest so beautifully, so uniquely. And I would just stand there for a moment until I was conscious of the Spirit of God upon me. And then I would walk in and I would get what I was going to get for lunch and just go through and do my normal business. I didn't stand on the counter and preach and do the cast out demons and all that stuff. You can do that. What I would do is just walk in and just conduct business. And I had friends in there. I'd find out how the business was doing. Such. And I remember the owner, a couple times he took me aside. One time he said, "Bill," he says, "come here." So we stood over by the vegetables, and he said, "When you walk in the store, something is different." Now, what does he recognize? Now, this is measurable. Remember, measurable. Presence is measurable. They may not have the language for it, but there's still impact. So he says, "Come here. When you walk in the store, something is different." And so I just very simply just began to explain, the presence of the Lord who is with us. But here's the deal. By you and me living in this open affection for God, He begins to manifest Himself upon us in a way that impacts every person we encounter. To put it another way, you make people thirsty for God.